Hi, how's it going? This is Resident of Collinwood for YouTube, back with my second Dark Shadows video. And no, I don't care if the cabinet door's open if you don't. Um, Here to talk about Count Andras Petofi. I have only one god, and that god is Petofi, and that's going to be the title of this video. A man who arises, Victor Ben Given. You know, the alias that Count Petofi arrives at with a forged letter from the York of Hampshire is amazing. This, in every definition, is a shout out to one specific pulp character, one pulp hero, if you will. And that's my favorite, the Shadow. I mean, in every way, this is a love letter. 1897's Count Petofi is a love letter to Walter B. Gibson in every way when you think about it. And here's the Shadow, who has no real face of his own, but is a man of many faces. And when you think about Petofi, what's he being? He's saying he's another man. Well, the Shadow posed as many characters. No, not just that rich playboy Lamont Cranston that they used to don and alter. And yes, he would pose as that character, but he would pose as many others as well. A janitor, a Secret Service agent, another rich character. He would pose as many. And he would have a way to explain those things. And here is Count Petofi posing as, Victor Ben Given, who has a way of explaining of why he's Victor Ben Given. Here's this forged letter that no one knows is forged from another person who we don't see. This is very Shadow-esque. I mean, in every way. Not only that, but Victor Ben Given, Count Andras Petofi, has agents, just like the Shadow, where the Shadow had Harry Vincent, Margot Lane, um, and many other Shadow agents. Um, you have you have Aristide, and you have a painter by the name of Charles Delaware Tate. Now, did he have as many agents? No. But I think that's the premise of Count Petofi. He's somebody who what he demands of his servants is full obedience. Now he doesn't. Now you might say, does he say it? And in many ways he does. He expects full obedience from his. He offers Aristide. Think about how he meets Aristide. He's saving Aristide from being caught by prison guards. Now, the Shadow saves people and then recruits them as his agents. So, the shout out to the Shadow in 18, the love letter that Dark Shadows sends the Shadow is a beautiful one, and it doesn't get discussed enough, really. And I'm glad I'm discussing it. And here's the thing. I love this character so much because though he is not the Shadow, and though he is the Shadow's love letter, a love letter to the Shadow, he does become his own character in every way. Think about the hand itself. The hand has been built up as this powerful force, and it belonged to this powerful mage, and his name was Count Andras Petofi. No one's seen him for years. No one knows what he looks like anymore. So he comes under this disguise of Victor Ben Gibbons, and Aristide, and then later we'll meet Charles Delaware Tate. He's having people ask around. He's having people, spy, mingle with other people. This isn't somebody who's playing checkers. This isn't somebody who's playing checkers. This is somebody who's playing chess and intends on being 12 moves ahead, as I've discussed in my previous video about Diablos. Petofi's intelligence is very high, and he's a very smart and cunning man, and he is very smart and cunning throughout the house. But once he's discovered, once people know he's Count Petofi, he has slowly put the people in the great house underneath a spell. I mean, the fact that Count Petofi leaps into a child is one of the most cruel things I've ever seen, and it is so twisted what he does. This guy is all time powerful. I mean, He's doing this just to get his severed hand back, a hand he hasn't had for almost 100 years. Not quite, but if that happens, he'll die. So once once he gets the hand back, it's a very strange occurrence. What happens? Here's Aristide, who has been fighting like hell to get this hand back. And once Petofi has the hand on his body but not attached to his wrist yet, Barnabas is the one pacing around in the basement of Petofi while Aristide's just sitting there chilling. And Aristide has and Charles Delaware Tate have as much to lose as Barnabas does if Petofi does die. And here's Aristide, he's just chilling. Have a seat, Mr. Collins. We can do because what Aristide knows is this: we can do nothing. I did what I was supposed to do. We got the hand back. Now we can do nothing. We just have to wait. And that's what Aristide's trying to tell Barnabas. Well, don't go in there. And he's preventing Barnabas from going in there. And finally, when Petofi emerges, yes! Yes! It's back with its rightful owner. My God, is it beautiful. It is. It's sexy, okay? Yes, a severed hand being reattached with its original owner is sexy. I said it! I said it! No, I don't have issues, okay? Yeah. Now, but this character is really amazing, and it's cool to see how far he goes to get his own hand back, and not only his own hand, his vengeance against the gypsies. Even though Aristide kills King Johnny Romano, look at how desperate Count Andras Petofi is to get the hell out of 1897. He wants to go to the present day because why? He is afraid of those gypsies. He's afraid of them as much as they are afraid of him. He wants to get us, if he can get a time jump ahead of the gypsies, he's all for it. And he wants the hell out of Dodge. Now, does he get out of Dodge is the big question, and it's the big finale, really, of 1897's Count Andras Petofi story arc, where he's laying in what we would classify as the Evans cottage in the future, but he's laying there, dying because Aristide betrayed him, not knowing that, Petofi was back in his own body instead of still being in Quentin's. You literally have now this man's last real vengeful act. So here's this character who gets stabbed by his own agent because his own agent went MIA. And Aristide stabs him. Now he's laying on the couch dying. He's summoned this man out of hell, one Garth Blackwood, who goes after Aristide with a vengeance. But doesn't just go after Aristide, he comes after one Count Andras Petofi. And as a fire ensues, and it is burning the cottage to the ground, you now have one of those interesting plot twists in Dark Shadows history. Petofi is gone. The only thing that remains are his glasses. Not his clothes, not his severed hand, his glasses. The question becomes, did Count Andras Petofi will himself through time? We've already seen a character like Barnabas Collins do it. Did Count Andras Petofi do it? And I gotta believe my answer to that question is absolutely yes. This man had great power, and I finally believed what he was really doing wasn't laying there dying. He was laying there trying to recontrol the hand, something he wasn't really too particularly great at once he got the hand back. I mean, here's a guy who had lost the ability to completely he could control it, but to completely control the hand because he's been away from it for so long. And I believe that's what he was really doing, was trying to control the very hand that he really realized. Because Petofi had to realize, okay, this hand's being really fickle, even with me, and it's my goddamn hand. And I love it. I love it. Count Andras Petofi is a great love letter to the Shadow. and it is a great, great character in Dark Shadows history. Played by actor Thayer David, Count Andras Petofi.